Okay, so thank you, Michael, for this awesome opportunity. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Since we are a smaller than usual group, usually this meeting attracts like a massive crowd because Michael is so awesome, and there really is hand-selected group of professionals here who I've had the pleasure of meeting with, interacting with, doing business with. So it's been amazing. Um, so since we have a smaller group, I'd like to keep it a little bit more interactive. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to interrupt me at any time and ask it, because I think that'll kind of enrich the experience a lot. So today my talk is on reputation management. You've heard me say a lot about reputation, and I'd like to demystify some pieces of that. Now, you, if you're noticing my Zoom background, you see haters. You might have heard this. It was a pretty popular song when I heard it. Haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Shake it off, shake it off. Now, I'm not doing that to audition for American Idol. The reason why I'm doing that is because you hear this thing, oh, shake it off, shake it off. I mean, that's all well and good. It's very motivational and uplifting. But what people don't realize is, yes, haters gonna hate, and yes, you should shake it off from a motivation standpoint. But beyond that, the part that you really need to think about is what happens after the haters hate. So when haters hate, well, they kind of do nasty things because they're in that kind of mood, and they just, for any reason or no reason, kind of go online and just, like word, what's it called, word vomit. And it's just like a whole bunch of garbage that does not portray your business, your practice in the best light possible. What happens is that other customers, your prospects, people that don't know you yet, or even people that might, who are potentially considering doing business with you, they read that and they're like, hmm, why is there a review that says in all caps, avoid at all costs? And you stink, you suck. Like, why? And sometimes a lot of these people will get their friends and they'll kind of almost like Zoom bomb, but review bomb you with a slew of maybe 10 one-star reviews on Google, Facebook, even on places that matter the most, like Glassdoor, Indeed, etc., Trustpilot. And those people take quite seriously, even if Google My Business is taken less seriously, or even Facebook for that matter. But and even Amazon, like Amazon, I mean, that's where you sell. Really, that's the largest marketplace. Any bad review there is really going to tank you. That's the reason why reviews have never become more important. That's one piece of it. The second dimension is that now, since we're in the age of COVID, I don't want to say post COVID because it still is very much out there. We're in the age of COVID, and all we have is online. That's all we have. We can't meet in person per se. And all we have is this online, the computer, the virtual world. That's all we have. Now more than ever, how we appear in this virtual world has never been more important. Even if it was super important earlier, now so it's become even more important because it's so easy for somebody to Google you before they meet you, after they meet you, before they do business with you. And if there's something out there that's questionable, it's going to impact the course of action, and whether that be a purchase or moving you to the next level. And this impacts you regardless of whether you're looking for a job, a project, a consulting gig, you're a contractor. It doesn't matter, but it kind of impacts you in this very direct way. So I'm going to take a stab and see if this works. This is our first foray into a new kind of video production. We call it puppet videos. This is a still unfinished copy, but I hope you won't judge me too harshly. And I hope that it conveys the message. So without further ado, I'd like to play this. It's very brief. I think it's maybe 30 seconds or something. So it shouldn't take a lot of time. But let me see if this works. I'm going to share my screen, share sound. Let me see if this works. Okay.
Online meetings, online interactions. How we appear online is critical to our business success. On page one of Google, on page one of YouTube, on page one of Instagram, on page one of Facebook. Are you ready for your customers? Does your website have a modern design? Is it easy to use and understand? Does your website have fun videos? Do you have 5-star reviews? 1-star reviews deleted from Amazon, from Google, from Facebook. Bad press deleted from Google. Risk free, success guaranteed, or your money back. Online.
Okay. So thank you. That was, like I said, it's still unfinished, but we're just like testing it out to see how it works out when it comes to engaging audiences. Um, so some of the highlights there is that most people view reputation purely from the perspective of having good reviews or bad reviews and just mitigating that by deleting it from Google. Yes, it is, that's kind of like where the tires meet the road, and sure, that is definitely one aspect that people are cognizant about. Another aspect that people perhaps should consider are things like, are you found on Google easily? Do you have a website? Have you looked at that website recently as a customer? Have you stepped into the customer's shoes, and is it easy to use? Is it mobile friendly? Does it have relevant content on it? Does it explain what you do in a way that anyone that doesn't know you from Adam can understand what you do in potentially less than 5 seconds? All of these things are, and you got to use that same lens to assess if your content is any good as well, because yes, your content lives on your website, but your content also lives on social media, it lives in your newsletter, it lives in other posts online, and you need to see how people are viewing that or perceiving you or judging you based on that content. And that is also a, a building block of your reputation. So let's say, I guess I'm going to use someone as a volunteer for this example. So let's say Michael, right? So Michael is amazing at what he does. He has many ventures. One of his companies is a consulting company that helps you build your product. If it's a software product, like a SaaS product, Michael is a person that can make it happen. He's amazing. He's awesome, and working with him is really a dream. And that's my mini testimonial of Michael as well. You're welcome. And now, if I'm on LinkedIn or anywhere else and I see a post that Michael published, and let's say that post does not align well with the Michael that I know. I know Michael as somebody who's serious, focused, very polished, very thorough, devil in the details kind of person. But then I see a post that maybe Michael did, or maybe somebody from his team did, and let's say there's a glaring typo in it. And let's say he posts this on LinkedIn, either as a post or on his company page or wherever. Or even if, let's say, it's on Instagram or Facebook, or if it's in his newsletter, the one that we all rely very heavily on to keep us uh, on track to attend the meeting. So those are things that also influence people's perception, which ultimately leads up to your reputation. So those are things that you should think about. Now, I'd like to open up the floor to any questions that anyone may have, either broadly on this subject of reputation, as well as if you have any, specific questions about either how we delete stuff, or, what are the different, aspects to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
my question is, how do you delete things? You and I have spoken about how you address the issues on Google search results, but each of these different platforms, of course, have different moderation, different processes. So if you can share any of that, that would be great.
Yeah, so the thing is that when it comes to getting stuff deleted from Google, it's actually a lot simpler than most people think. It's not this scene from some movie where it's a dark room and a hooded figure and a keyboard with backlit lighting and there's doing clickety clack. No, it's nothing like that. It's not as dramatic as that. The way how it works, it's basically the websites are moderated or owned, if you will, or run by webmasters. The webmaster is the one that controls the content on any given website. It doesn't matter what the website is. It could be a government website, a private website, a news publication. It doesn't matter. That's typically how it happens. Now, how we get content off or deleted is we work with the people that we know at Google as well as the webmasters to request them to get the content removed from that page, because like we can make the case saying that, hey, this is either it's like you're smearing somebody's name or it's just false, or please can you just please do it. And what it ultimately boils down to is a request and a negotiation with that webmaster. So sometimes, for for example, if you want to get a review from peoplefinder.com deleted, that cost is going to be a lot lower than if you want to get it deleted from sec.gov, because sec.gov, it requires a little bit more scrutiny, and that webmaster is going to ask you like 20 questions, which is why it's not overnight, it's not instant, it's not like a click of a button kind of thing. So it does, there there are conversations that happen through back channels as to when we make the case, and very often it does happen. We have a high success rate, and that's how we deliver the outcome that we deliver. I will also say this, that once it's gone permanently, because what's being gone is that link that appears on Google, and once that is deleted, it's gone and it's permanent, which is why we can say very accurately and honestly, with a great amount of sincerity and integrity, that yes, it's permanent and it's also fastest. And secondly, we can also say that if we don't deliver the outcome in the forecasted time frame, you get your money back, because that's exactly the same, uh, kind of agreement that we have with the webmaster. So the webmaster can request the money after it's been done, and the same carries forward with our client. So if, let's say, this target link needed to be deleted from New York Post, and for whatever reason it wasn't, sure. So the webmaster obviously wasn't paid because he didn't agree, and we didn't deliver. So we can, for that one link, we can refund the client whatever the amount was. So that's kind of like how we do it. It's very transparent, and it also turns out to be like the fastest way to do it, because if you try to push it down, yeah, you can do that. That's one of our services, which is called relocation. We move the bat press from page 1 to page 5 and beyond, and that just takes a long time. There's no way to expedite that. It just takes as long as it takes. It could be 6, 9, 15 months, and then it becomes a monthly retainer, and well, you know how that works out. So that's how we do it, the real truth, and the reason why it costs what it costs.
And how does that differ if it's like an Amazon review or a Yelp review or whatever else?
Yeah, so it's the exact same way. So with Amazon, we work with the Amazon webmasters to kind of get that review taken down. And essentially what happens is that that review is essentially unpublished. So it's not like deleted, like, no, we don't like necessarily hack into that person's system and just like keep clicking backspace. So it's not like that. It's just, it basically gets unpublished, which is the same as it being just offed or disappeared, so to speak. So I mean, delete is just a very simple and easy to understand word. and the outcome is the same. So we use the word delete.
Any other questions? Because that's the 15 minutes. Questions from anybody else?
I have a question. So Rajiv, how does it work? So prospective clients, they realize or they come across the fact that they've gotten a bad review or some bad reviews. So
Right.
do they come to you and they say, "Hi, Rajiv, I've got these three bad reviews on Yelp. Can you do something?"
Correct.
Okay. So it's like a rifle shot sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's usually like a reactionary postmortem type stuff. So it's like, hey, my house is on fire. Can you help me? So it's it's kind of like that. And we do have a service that is preemptive as well, but I would say like 99% of the requests that we get is the former, where, hey, my house is on fire. Can you help me?
Any other questions from anybody else? Howard?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're on
Did I
mute.
unmute? Oh, okay. So are you saying that the webmasters are paid specifically a specific amount for removing a specific review?
Yeah.
And is that under the table or is that above board to there?
I don't know whether it's in the table, under the table, over the pocket. I don't know all that. I'm not in the room, nor do I want to be. But yeah, I mean, it's a payment that's made.
All right. So it's a negotiation with some, what do they call it? Some money, obviously. Anybody else?
What if it's not one review? If it's, a couple and it's on all the, it's on Instagram, it's on, it goes across the board. Because very often if somebody's pissed, they're not pissed on one site. They
Right.
they go haywire. And sometimes they don't post one review. They can go on and on. So can you do like a concept and get rid of the whole thing? Or do you just do literally one at a time? And if that's the case, you got to, I would imagine, rob a bank to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does kind of mount up because the fee is per link.
Whoa. So somebody can really get annoyed and start really posting, and then you've got a migraine. Okay.
Yep. It
Real
can
tough.
get pretty ugly. Yep.
I can imagine it can get really ugly.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Rajiv. That's helpful. I think
Helpful.
it's,
Interesting.
yeah, it's, somebody's leaving. Victor is leaving. Okay. Have to run one to be sure to catch Rajiv. Okay. So I will put up the list of folks as they showed up in the chat. And I'm going to take Victor off since he's gone. But Audrey, Howard, Rochelle, Rocky, Faith, and Jason in that order. So Audrey, 2 minutes with a little leeway, certainly, since we're we got plenty of time.
Okay,
You are up.
awesome. So if you don't want to get sued or fined, don't lie in your marketing campaign. It's that simple. Are you confused? Then let me explain. I'm an advertising, marketing, and promotions law attorney, and I review everything in your marketing campaign to make sure you're legally compliant with advertising law, intellectual property law, make sure you're not infringing. And of course, since we all live online, and websites in social media are such an important part of your marketing, I also review those. So when it comes to your websites, I help you be legally compliant also with privacy law and with ADA online compliance. So I help you by drafting all the legal documentation to get you legally compliant online for privacy law and ADA, as well as work with your tech team. And if you don't have one, I can always recommend to make sure that you are legally compliant in the back end. I as well help. So I mostly work with web designers, ad agencies, PR agencies who are well versed in this field of law. And, so I get to, actually, they rope me in, they bring me into the case so that I can do all the legal compliance while they're doing all the creative compliance or all the creating the campaign. It's preferable that your campaign, actually, technically you're supposed to be legally compliant before you launch your website or whatever your campaign may be. So I do it in English, in Spanish, and that's what sets me apart. And I'm a one-stop shop. That's the other thing that sets me apart. I'm a solo practitioner. Yet another thing that sets me apart. And I do flat rates. Another thing that sets me apart. So because all 4 fields of law are federal law, doesn't matter where I'm located, doesn't matter where you're located, and this is industry agnostic. So it doesn't matter how big, how small, what your product or your service is, where you're located. If you have a website, you are advertising nationally and internationally, and you must be legally compliant. Any questions, reach out to me. Well, you can see my information there, one finger. Thank you so much, Art Victor, and I'm here to help out.
Thank you. Howard, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. My company is called Red Rooster Group. We help nonprofit organizations to wake up their brands. So organizations that we call sleeping, meaning they have not realized their full potential. They're experiencing some type of issue. They don't have the visibility or awareness. They have new services they'd like to unroll, new markets to tap. They're not engaging their participants. They're not raising the money they want. We'll come in and help wake up their brand with an organizational transformation. And we do it through a behavioral science lens. So we look at the psychology of how audiences and donors respond, and we provide the interventions that will allow the organization to tap into those desires and propel them forward. As part of that work, we've developed a called the Actionology Fundraising Action Pack. It's a deck of cards that details specific behavioral principles and applies them to nonprofit organizations. This is the only resource like this, applying behavioral science to nonprofit organizations, and we help to drive engagement with participation in programs, drive fundraising, and other metrics of success. You could find us online at redroostergroup.com.
Or just look up Red or Rooster on trustref.net, and then you'll get all the information. Email, telephone number, website, and Howard's headshot. Beautiful headshot. And do you know Christina Hagopian?
Yes.
Okay. You know, she's done work for Montefiore. I don't know if you've collaborated with her at all, but
I know her well, having worked with her directly in that, but we've been involved in the Spark Design Network together for many years.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Victor's gone. Rochelle, you're up.
Hi there. I always say it's Rochelle from Dynamic Business Growth and not Schlep Along Business Growth. And when we think of business, you know, we want to start with sales. And when we sell, how do we present? So when we are presenting what we do, I always ask, are you storytelling or boring telling? Did you just torture me with God knows how many facts and figures about your company? Or did you tell me some, you know, really zippity doo dah dynamic, crazy story that based on that story, I'm going to understand your skill level and what you actually do for somebody? So I work with a lot of companies to, number one, we look at what's the positioning, what's the best client, what's your best story, how did you pull a rabbit out of a hat? And then how do we say it in a charismatic way? So there's a 3-step process. You want to say, you want to catch people's attention, you want to compel them with an interesting story, and you want to have some sort of a call to action. So this coming May 5th, I am starting my first group program. It's going to be a 6-week program called the Ultimate Power Pitch. And I'll be working with smaller companies or entrepreneurs to create their powerful pitch. So if you need any information about that, or if you do know somebody whose company they need to understand how to speak about their business, you know, have them reach out to me. I'd really appreciate that. So it's May 5th. And I thank you.
Is it on your website?
No, I'm going to have a landing page in the middle of writing the landing page. So when I get the landing page, I'll let you know. The landing page will be ultimatepowerpitch.com, but it's not up yet. Hopefully by the weekend. I
Good.
swear I have it done today, but you know, like one sneeze and it's 5 o'clock. I don't know how the hell that happened. No, I'm serious. I hot chewed and I looked at my clock. It was like 5 o'clock. So I don't know.
Time flies. All right. Rocky Lalvani.
Hey, y'all. I'm the Profit Answer Man. I work with small business owners as their chief profitability officer. So we've got a saying that Rajiv just loves. Top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity, and cash is king. At the end of the day, that's what I do. I help small business owners ensure that they are profitable and that they have cash so they can handle storms and do whatever it is that they love to do. I have 2 podcasts where I do a lot of teaching. One of them is Profit Answer Man, and that's basically how to implement profit first in your business. And the other one is Rich Your Soul, which once you figure out your money, how do you live your ultimate life? And so I just work with small business owners to help them thrive. Thanks.
What kind of businesses do you, small, what kind of businesses do you tend to work with?
So I tend to work with a lot in and around real estate. So they could be builders, contractors, realtors, anybody working in the real estate space. I tend to work with creatives because creatives and money are like oil and water. So I tend to help them. And then I also do work with some guys in the online and retail space as well. Most of my clients are usually $500,000 to $5 million in revenue. So they know how to generate revenue. They're not big enough that they have full-time help on staff.
And is the focus marketing or is it more finance?
It is all finance. Now we will evaluate your marketing and we will see if it is paying off. So we'll look at things like number of leads, conversion rate, cost for leads, and say, do you have a cost-effective marketing program? Or are you just spending money on Facebook ads and nobody's calling you back?
Sounds good. All right. We should definitely talk and maybe even about a podcast. So not a podcast, a webinar on podcasting.
Okay.
You already do podcasting. Faith Tomasis. Faith, are you still here?
Yeah, hi, I'm Faith Thomasis, and I know half of you already. That's another story, Thomasis. When I was naming my company, I was going to call it Thomasis and Tomasis, but I didn't know anyone would get the joke. If you want to know the whole story, call me. Anyway, I am a marketing communications specialist, and I really work with the verbal components of a brand, and that involves copywriting, name development, and any kind of strategic thinking that would go into either brand planning or a communications program or any kind of liaison with the client. And my ideal client is a design firm that needs somebody with my skills, such as Red Rooster Group. So Howard's wonderful. I'm a generalist. I've got experience in a wide range of industries, and I'm very flexible with who I work with. I've worked with companies. I work with design firms as a subcontractor. And my real skill is boiling things down to their essence and getting to the crux with minimal waste. I write the way that I talk, which is I don't waste any words. So my website is going to be relaunched very soon, thanks to Howard Levy. And I'm excited about that. And it's thomasiscompany.com. I'll put it in the chat. And look forward to meeting everyone some more.
And you might want to look at ahrefs.net and do a search on designers or agencies and just reach out to folks.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
We still have extra time?
You do have
time I had too much time.
Well, you have a few more seconds, but anything else you want to add?
All right. Stay healthy.
Jason. I think you're the only Jason today.
Hi there. Hey, let me see if this thing works. Give me a second.
You're gonna go to the background.
I'm playing with something. I'm gonna see if it works. It does work almost. Hold on, I gotta get the right camera.
You disappeared though.
No, I know. It's funny, interestingly enough. Let's see if that works. So it's not working. Okay, fine. All right, I'll get rid of that. I'm Jason Cement. I run a marketing agency called Get Visible, and we build websites and then we promote the heck out of them with search engine rankings, advertising, social media. I wrote a book called I Need More Clients, helps people get clients. It's like a do-it-yourself guide. And the news I'm going to share now is going to make Audrey crazy. So apparently there's a tax code that will pay you back through the form of a tax credit up to $5,000 if you upgrade your website for ADA.
Say that again?
If you upgrade your website for American Disabilities Act compliance and you spend up to 10 grand, you can deduct 50% of what you spend on your, as a, not deduct, as a tax credit.
So where did you find this?
A guy pitched me yesterday. I saw it and he didn't explain what it was, but a guy in the comments on the pitch explained what the tax code is, and it's crazy. So I'm
Can
waiting.
you share that with me, please?
Yeah, so I'm waiting.
Where
for
in the
my,
code is it? I want to see it.
I'll tell you the number. It's but you have to know what it is. But basically, it's section 44.
Of which
I'm sorry,
code?
what?
Section 44 in the tax code. So it's somehow they got it, meaning if you had a building and you built a ramp, you could take a tax credit. Now, if you make your website compliant, you get to take a credit for that. So
That's the research credit. You're
It's
shaking
not
your head,
research.
Rocky. It's not the research credit?
no. You'll find it. Email me and I'll send you information. Okay, that's
Awesome.
the word of mouth. It's
Okay.
really
On that
cool.
also.
It even means for me, like we literally are going to take a $5,000 tax credit on last year's return because I haven't filed yet and I know what we spent to redo our website, and all I have to find out is how much of the spend can be credited. You know, I mean, if you spend 10 grand to redo your website, how much will the government allow you to take? If not all of it was ADA compliance, obviously. So I'm working it out now. Super cool stuff. And most of my business is, we're industry agnostic, we're platform agnostic. We build sites in WordPress. We do e-commerce in Shopify, WordPress, and another system called Adricom that Michael knows about. And we're building sites in America, we're built for McDonald's in Russia. We're built for like the Tesco of Germany for Russia, like a huge super food chain, and places in America. If any of you play tennis, there's a thing called the Lobster, which throws the ball over the net. We built the website for the Lobster Company. And obviously marketing is, that's what we figured out. We were building sites and realized the money is in the marketing. And that's when 16 years ago, we launched the services side of the business. So we have a platform and we do the marketing. So that's what we do. And I'm under my 5 minutes. And you get
All
a
right.
tax credit.
And you get a tax. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. Did I miss anybody? Because I will go next. We're down to 8 of us. Okay. So my name is, I'll put the timer on for myself. Hold on. So as you know, my name is Michael Bendit, and my company is called Software Development Resources. And I do sales representation for about 10 different boutique software companies. As you know, people who start software companies aren't necessarily, they don't have that sales orientation, perhaps. They're more focused on getting stuff done. They tend to be more introverted. So I supplement their capabilities in terms of sales, and it's purely on a commission basis. So about half the work we do is with marketing applications, and a good portion of that is in partnership with agencies. Those are types of agencies, perhaps not like Jason's, where they do a lot of that stuff internally, but companies that don't want to do that stuff internally, they'd rather focus on what they believe is the more profitable work, the marketing side, and don't want to spend the time and effort and the headache associated with, building and all the technical stuff that goes along with, building the website, maintaining the website, security management, and all that tech stuff. The other half is working with startups. So we get a lot of business from companies, people who have an idea, they want to get it implemented in software, whether that's a mobile application or a website or an e-commerce site or something else. They come to me because they're not sure where to go. And my clients don't pay me anything. It's the teams or the people that are paying for the website or the mobile application don't pay me anything. I get paid by the companies that I represent as an agent for them. I will stop there, except to say that really good leads for me are small, mid-sized digital marketing agencies and folks that want to build something and have an idea that they want to actually turn into reality. So a couple things that are going on tonight, and there is a networking expo. It is for people who want to find out about other networking groups. I think they're mostly in the New York area. I don't believe there's any others that are focused specifically on marketing. I will be presenting TRN at that event. Rajiv, do you have the sign on? Can you share that for people who want to sign up?
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah.
Because Rajiv turned me on to it, and it was just last week that I found out about it, and I sort of slipped in last minute. But if people want to attend, it's starting at 7 tonight to 9. And I think there's going to be 17 or 18 networks. You can, there'll be breakouts where you can go visit each of the network leaders and find out about what they're doing and what's unique about it. It's a good concept. It's called, Howard, do you have to leave? Were you waving to?
No, I got
I was
to
waving
I'm
to
just
Jason.
letting you go. I got to run.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
All right, thanks.
So Rajiv's going to drop that in the list.
Yeah, I just did.
Thank you. Okay, so everybody should grab that. It's you can sign up there. It's through Zoom, and you sign up on Zoom.
It's tonight at 7?
Yeah, I
It's
think
tonight at 7. It's
yeah, because I
tonight.
spoke to Amy, the person that started, and she invited me. I think it's an interesting concept to see, what other kind of networking groups are in the city, because I think with everybody sitting home, you can go to different groups and not have to contend with the travel of it. So, and if you, to go to 7 other groups, and if you're going from, driving or whatever, it's not doable, but you can pick up one extra group. And if you find some people that you might find interest in, I think it's not a bad idea.
And the other thing I wanted to that I'm toying with, and I think I'm going to try to launch it, is regional local chapters of TRN. And the intention there is for them to be exclusive, so that if you are an SEO expert, a reputation management expert, a copywriter, you will be the only one in your group covering that space. So I'm looking for people to to step up, because I will need chapter leaders. And if you're the chapter leader, part of your responsibility is to recruit other people that you feel comfortable with, and that you would recommend, or that you think should be in this larger group as well as your own chapter. And the idea would also be that once COVID is over, once we all get inoculated, that you'll be able to meet in person, maybe once a month or twice a month, in addition to the virtual, which gives you sort of the national view of TRN.
How nice would that be?
Meeting people in person. I'm going for my second COVID shot on the 5th, so on Monday. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
It seems so alien, we've been home for like over a year. So it's like, an in-person meeting, like what the hell is that going to be about?
Exactly.
Right now we want it, but I guess once it actually comes to pass, I guarantee we'll all be bitching about the commuting and the whatever, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too long, it's an hour to get there, an hour back. I don't have that kind of time. It's so interesting. This will be a great example of the grass is always greener. It's very funny.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing that I wanted, I think I mentioned it in the last meeting, and it was also on my newsletter, is we now have, and I'm going to share it, we're now part of Meeting Machine, which is similar to Lunch Club, but it's private, for private groups. And so TRN has a meeting machine.
Oh, that is fabulous. Because Lunch
Yeah.
Club, I mean, has anybody here been on Lunch Club?
Yeah.
We have.
What is
So
the experience? Because I think it's great. I happen to have met some really nice people. Anybody else have that same experience?
yeah, I've met a bunch of people. So I'm going to copy this link. If you sign up, you will be connected one-on-one once a week with somebody, first with people in TRN. And then once you run through all those people, then you will start being connected to other people outside of the Trusted Referral Network. And it's a dual opt-in. So both parties have to opt in.
Did you do this in an email or because I didn't see this in the email?
It's in, so by the way, I just hit return on the order of people, but I just hit return also on Meeting Machine TRN. This is the link, meetingmachine.group/TRN. And this is provided through one of our members, Kevin McCarthy, who presented last week. It's a side gig that he put together. And it's a 15-minute meeting. So, if it's not such a great meeting, it only is 15 minutes. And if it is a great meeting, you can always follow up and connect on LinkedIn. I would say the areas where they can improve are they make the introduction on Monday. You only have 24 hours for both people to accept. Otherwise it gets canceled. So it's free. So I can't complain too much. It's, as I say, don't look at.
Really like not a lot of time.
I know I would prefer a half hour, but.
Exactly, or at least 15 minutes, you say hello and then you disconnect it.
Well, you at least find out. I guess you could probably stay longer, right? There's no reason why you couldn't. I don't think it disconnects you. It just says it only books it for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And as you all know, trustref.net. If you haven't claimed your listing, there's no better time. If you have any questions about how to do that, go to help, the account setup guide, and the listing guide. That's pretty much it. Any questions, comments? Michelle?
I had a great one-on-one with Howard last week. I think it was I don't even know if it was last week, last month. As I said, I just got up and it's 5 o'clock already, so I have no idea. But I have to say it was just a great one-on-one. I've learned a lot about him. I love the idea that he uses this emotional intelligence as he's doing his web development, and that's so critical for non-for-profit. So I just thought that was what I call one of my recent zippity-doo-dah meetings.
It's all about people need to be persuaded by emotional connection.
Right, and to understand that and to have a system around it. He has this deck of cards that he uses to really pull that out. I was so impressed. I walked away like, wow.
Howard, you need to do a presentation. You need to pick a showcase.
I'll do that.
He has to do it with that deck of cards. Like Howard, you must. It was so amazing. I just loved it.
So here's the sign up zone. This is where you sign up. I'm going to try to move this to my website in not too long, but I'm going to share this on chat.
Great.
So there's the sign up zone. It's also in my newsletter. There's a section that says sign up zone for signing up for a showcase. So yeah, as we all know, if nobody knows about what you do, they can't send you business.